Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So we're going to get right into the first topic, which talks about Sony at CES 2024, specifically what they had to say about PlayStation. And as I told you guys, going into CES, when it comes to PlayStation, don't expect anything significant. Expect, I guess you could say, like very small or minor announcements, if any. Well, it seems that Sony really decided to kind of tone down the presence that PlayStation would have at CES this year, because they really didn't talk about it that much, but they did reveal just a couple of smaller things here. And one of the things they did talk about is how there was a new record set for monthly active users for PlayStation. This is being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle. Sony announced at CES 2024 that it saw a record number of active PlayStation players during the month of December 2023. 123 million PSN users logged in during the month across PS5, PS4, and PS3. In December 2022, Sony logged 112 million active users, so the aforementioned figure is an increase in about 11 million users. For those wondering about a breakdown, Sony didn't have one to share, but we recently found out via a leaked slide following a ransomware attack on Insomniac Games that even the PS3 is still seeing millions of active players, or at least it was back in February of this year. Other tidbits of information that cropped up during Sony's CES 2024 presentation is our first look at the Gravity Rush movie, a revival of Patapon, either an anime or a game, and possibly a slight delay in Helldivers 2. That was actually corrected, by the way. What they're referring to is it said February 28th was the release date for Helldivers 2, but it was confirmed it was just a typo. Helldivers 2 is still set to release on February 8th. But yeah, this is pretty much the extent of Sony's CES 2024 presentation when it comes to PlayStation. They did also confirm that the writing process has begun for the TV series for God of War as well as Horizon. And on top of that, they did show off the PlayStation 5 Slim in 3 new colors. Well, they're not necessarily new, but they're the new plates. This is something that Sony did confirm with the PS5 Slim, is that if you care about changing, the color of your plates for the Slim model, you'll be able to do that. So they kind of showed that off. But yeah, that's basically it. It's worth noting that this was the first year, I believe, since the PS5 launched that Jim Ryan didn't present. It could be because he's, going to be retiring in just about 2 months. So, or it could just be because they really didn't have much to say. So there you go. That was PlayStation at CES. But moving on to the next topic, we're talking about Helldivers 2, which is coming out in less than a month. And what's very interesting about this game is it's going to be launching on both PS5 and PC day one. This is, again, something that I think we should expect to see more of going forward with any games that are multiplayer or live service from Sony. But one of the things they did is release a new trailer where they revealed the specs for Helldivers 2 if you're planning on playing on PC. And it seems like you're actually going to need some pretty good specs to play this game, at least at higher resolutions and higher frame rates. But one of the other things they did confirm is that there will be cross-play between PS5 and PC. And so this is like a cooperative shooter, not a competitive one. So I think, a lot of people will end up playing using crossplay, but I could also see just as many people deciding to turn off the crossplay and stick with just playing on PS5. And so I guess I kind of want to ask you guys, if you're planning on playing Helldivers 2, first off, are you planning on playing on PS5 or PC? And if you're playing on PS5, are you planning on turning off crossplay? But yeah, the marketing cycle for Helldivers 2 is ramping up, which is good to see because it's a game that I think looks pretty good. I think it has a lot of potential, and I'm excited to play it. I was just a little bit worried there that Sony really wasn't going to talk about it leading up to its launch, but we are starting to see that now. And yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how Helldivers 2 performs, since again, it is launching day one on PC alongside PS5. Moving on to the next topic, we have another update regarding Silent Hill 2 Remake. And this time it's coming from Bloober Team. This is being reported by WCCF Tech. Konami is preparing a marketing campaign for the Silent Hill 2 remake, which should begin soon, judging from some recent comments. These comments come from the CEO of Bloober Team, where he talked about Silent Hill 2 remake, and he said that he believes the marketing campaign is in preparation at Konami and is going to kick off very soon, suggesting that no, the game is pretty much done and we are going to get that release date. And this is something I've been talking about. We just recently saw Sony put out a trailer for 2024 games on PS5, and Silent Hill 2 Remake was featured there. The game has been up for pre-order for some time. We haven't got another trailer. We haven't seen gameplay, but there have been at least a few hints from Bloober Team that the game is pretty much done, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they're not even working on this. It's just completely done, ready to go, ready to ship. It's just a matter of Konami getting the marketing campaign prepped and, nailing down when exactly they want to release it. That's my thoughts on it anyway. And so it's good news to hear from the CEO that, yeah, the marketing campaign is going to kick off very soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear more about Silent Hill 2 Remake in just a couple of weeks or as early as next month. And so actually, this helps take us into the final topic of the video. And, these things maybe potentially line up together. We're talking about the next state of play from PlayStation. This is being reported by Push Square. They say all three platform holders look set to host digital showcases in the coming weeks, as Giant Bomb journalist Jeff Grubb shares his thoughts on the months ahead after Microsoft announced a new developer direct for next week. Talking on this week's Giant Bombcast, he claims a State of Play live stream is coming from Sony, and he expects it to take place within the next few weeks. It also sounds like the usual Nintendo Direct in February will also be a thing. Should Sony host a State of Play live stream within the next few weeks, it seems likely the upcoming PS5 exclusives Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Rise of the Ronin would feature prominently. Fans have been hoping for a demo of the former and more information and footage focusing on the latter. Besides that, Sony usually supports its previously announced titles with third-party partnerships. Pacific Drive, out next month, is a possibility that could fill one of those slots. Sony hasn't hosted a State of Play showcase since September of 2023, where it announced a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth release date, Resident Evil 4 DLC Separate Ways, and a new trailer for Spider-Man 2. If the hardware manufacturer sticks to this announcement setup, you can generally expect one, maybe two significant reveals flanked by smaller pieces of news. And so, yeah, there are a couple of things with this. First and foremost, it's a rumor. It's coming from Jeff Grubb. Now, the reason why I'm willing to cover this and believe this and give Jeff Grubb, I guess, the benefit of the doubt here is because he was the only one really last year that talked about Sony doing State of Plays and a showcase, and he was the only one that gave us correct information leading to that. And so it seems like, this is something that's going to happen. Again, he's very vague about it. He says in the next few weeks. I feel like, and anybody could really kind of say that and likely end up correct. Sony has kind of had, I don't want to say like a routine with this, because every time we think we know like Sony's pattern, they end up changing it up. But in recent memory, it just seems like February State of Play, right? September State of Play. It's kind of had that cadence. And yeah, I do think that if Sony does end up doing a State of Play in the next couple weeks, we should keep our expectations relatively low. I don't necessarily think that we won't see anything, but I think that what we will see is more of what we already know. Again, games like Rise of the Ronin, FF7 Rebirth. I wouldn't go in expecting any type of surprise. I mean, Concord is the only first-party game from Sony that is set to come this year, but I wouldn't even expect to see that at a regular State of Play. Maybe we could see Silent Hill 2 Remake, which we just talked about. That would be a great place for Konami to show off the game again and give a release date. And, stuff like that would be nice to get. But yeah, we know that Microsoft is doing their developer direct this month. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple weeks after that, Sony ends up doing some kind of State of Play. But yeah, obviously that's not what I think most people are hoping for from PlayStation at this point. I think what most people are hoping for is a proper showcase to kind of, really set the stage, let us know the roadmap for first-party PlayStation titles, let us know what some of these studios have been working on. We really didn't get that at last year's showcase. So you can kind of understand why so many people want Sony to have a showcase sooner rather than later. But if I had to guess, we will certainly get a state of play before we get another showcase. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.